Alright. Ladies and gentlemen, now that I've gotten all the shit that I suffered through in the year 2022 out of the way first, time to reward myself with the top 5 best films I saw in the year 2022. Number 5 is The Batman. In my opinion, this is the best comic book film released in the year 2022. Matt Reeves did a tremendous job making this film a noir mystery thriller with a dark knight, and Robert Pattinson was superb as Batman. Although I do wish he was a little more lighthearted as Bruce Wayne, because anyone who reads Batman comics knows that Batman is who he really is, and Bruce Wayne is the lighthearted mask. Zoe Kravitz was a phenomenal Catwoman, and in my opinion, she was the second best live-action Catwoman next to Michelle Pfeiffer. Colin Farrell especially was outstanding as the Penguin to the point where I don't even see Colin Farrell, I just see Oswald Cobblepot. And cheers to the makeup crew of this movie who did the design of the Penguin, because that makeup was just top-notch. And Paul Dano especially was really good as the Riddler. However, I did feel that he did unnecessarily overact in some scenes and did kind of remind me of Jim Carrey's Riddler. Jeffrey Wright was a top-notch Jim Gordon, and what I loved about his version of Jim Gordon is that he doesn't take any crap from Batman and calls him out when he does something that he isn't fond of. The movie has great live-action sequences and also has amazing cinematography and astounding atmosphere. I loved how Matt Reeves made Gotham City look as gothic and dark as it did in the comics. Gotham City is a decrepit and filthy place to live in, and he truly conveyed that in its design. The way this movie was paced was great too. While the movie has a long runtime, I did not once feel the 3-hour runtime of this movie. It never once dragged out in any way. That's how great the pacing was in this film. Even though it was 2 hours and 50-something minutes, it never once dragged out. While there were some bits in this movie that I wasn't very fond of, the one big flaw of this movie is that I wish the batsuit that Pattinson wore was more black and gray like in the comics, and I wanted it to look more like it did here in this picture. And I didn't really like the cowl all that much because his ears didn't even look like bat ears, they looked more like antennas. And I didn't like how the jawline is way too exposed, but overall, I still really like this film, and I can't wait to see what else Matt Reeves has in store. No, not you, James Gunn, get the hell out of here. For the record, fuck Warner Brothers and fuck James Gunn for ruining the future of the DCEU. Number 4 is Elvis. I absolutely adored this film, and to be honest, I think this is Baz Luhrmann's best film to date. Austin Butler was a phenomenal Elvis Presley, and he truly immersed himself to the role where I didn't even see Butler, I just heard and saw Elvis. He nailed Elvis Presley's singing, mannerisms, inner conflict, and personality. This movie was beautifully shot, has a great soundtrack, and the performances from everybody, including Tom Hanks, was just phenomenal. This movie left me in complete awe the moment it was over, and honestly, I'm gonna make this clear right now. If the Oscars does not give Austin Butler a Best Actor nomination for his performance in this film, I won't be surprised why people don't watch them anymore. Overall, Elvis was a near masterpiece, and I absolutely loved it. Number 3 is The Black Phone. This film is by far my favorite horror film of 2022. It is scary, thrilling, nail-biting, and keeps you on the edge of your seat all the way through. Mason Thames' performance in this movie was just great. He is one of the best child actors I've ever seen, and I hope he gets more roles because he was great in this movie. Madeline McGraw's performance as Gwen was great. She, along with Mason Thames, were terrific, and I could truly buy that they were siblings. I also did like the clever nod to Stephen King's work that she has psychic powers and had dreams and premonitions of the Grabber. Ethan Hawke's performance in this movie as the Grabber was both astonishing and terrifying at the same time. Every time he was on screen, he had a horrifying presence to him, and he was so unpredictable that you didn't know what he was going to do next. The moment this movie was over, I knew that no other horror film this year could come close to this film as being the best horror film of 2022. Number 2 is Everything Everywhere All at Once. I really do regret not seeing this movie in theaters because I had such a blast and a phenomenal time watching this film on Amazon Prime, and the direction by Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinert was superb. This film has great and hilarious action sequences, and all of them were very well choreographed, well shot, and edited together. I never thought I would live to see a day where I would watch a scene where a woman beats multiple security guards to death with a pair of dildos. The film has a very funny and almost obscure sense of humor, which isn't even surprising because the directors of this movie made Swiss Army Man, and that film was very obscure in its humor as well. The performances in this movie were all phenomenal. Michelle Yeoh gave a relatable and great performance. Ke Huy Quan was especially great in this film, considering the last movie I saw him in was Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, where he played Short Round. Even Jamie Lee Curtis gave a memorable performance in this movie, and the best way I can describe this film is that it's basically The Matrix on crack, but in a good way. If you haven't seen it, you're doing yourself a great disservice. Check it out as soon as you can. My number one favorite film of 2022 is Top Gun Maverick. 36 years in the making, and it paid off big time. Tom Cruise gave a phenomenal performance in this movie, and honestly, I would rank this film as being one of his best acting roles he's ever done since Last Samurai and Collateral. And yeah, I am going there. The new cast of members they brought in here, such as Glenn Powell, Monica Barbaro, Louis Pullman, Jay Ellis, and Danny Ramirez, were all great in this movie. I especially want to give great props to Miles Teller's performance as Rooster, and the chemistry he and Tom Cruise had together was fantastic. Seeing Maverick go through an arc of redemption and learning to have some closure after not being able to save Goose in the last film was great. It is an understatement to say that the action sequences, especially the aerial combat scenes, were very well done. They are very well shot and edited together, and the visual effects along with it are tremendous. It actually made you feel like you were up there fighting along with them. Overall, I absolutely adored Top Gun Maverick, and no other film in 2022 has even come remotely close to taking its place as my favorite film of the year. Thank you all very much for watching this video, and let me know in the comment section below what your favorite films of the year 2022 were. Goodbye and stay tuned for more, and have a happy new year. Peace.